Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies and we accept their guidance. We listen and see what's inspiring us and what's transpiring as they guide us on this journey. So welcome, 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 everyone. And as you're joining, by all means, please place in the comments a hello, where you're joining from around the globe, as we gather as one in this unity, in this unified moment. So welcome, Olivia, and action-packed. Action-packed. So there's a lot going on here, and it's really quite amazing. And I want to just offer a caveat to everyone who's been joining since November of 2021, when the Lady Jacqueline and I began this journey with all of you, and the Weekly Wisdom and Insights, and just a little caveat about all of this information. And it's the essence of time, and it's the issue of, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm very conscious, like you, I'm a human being, and I am right there with you in this journey. And the one thing that we, of course, cannot control is quote unquote time. Time does not exist outside of our human experience, outside of Earth, if you will. And so as these things progress, and this happens when I do readings for people, so I'm just sharing this as, it's the one thing where you can get a season, you can get a knowing, and this will happen for yourselves. You'll get a knowing about something. And the one aspect, the one question mark, is just simply a matter of when. It's about timing. Because you'll know, and it proves out. We always say in hindsight, or okay, you can see in hindsight after it's happened. Yes, I had that knowing. The unknown is time. So just putting that little preface out there, because it was important to do, because a lot of this has to do with divine time, not our time, divine time. And in that divine time, it pairs up with the 7, which is about that divine fulfillment, it's perfection. And again, and I'm aware, we're humans and we're like, tick, 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 let's go, let's go, let's go. So just a little caveat there about time, timing, and divine time. Welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Ava. So as we get going, we're going to jump in because there's a lot to cover, and I want to make sure I do it as quickly and thoroughly as possible. I'm going to jump in with our main theme. And our main theme this week is biting through, and it has to do with the Gordian knot and Alexander the Great in this sense. It's hexagram 21, and today is the summer solstice. So it has to do with hexagram 21 and biting through this Alexander the Great, the Gordian knot, cutting through, and breakthrough. And then it came as well, a reward to the faithful, and you'll see why this is tying in. But so this biting through, breakthrough, You see a beautiful dove of peace with the olive branch. Loved this image. And the turquoise colors, the green, these are playing out. Remember, the color green has been playing out with us for quite some time. This turquoise color having to do with the Aquarian age, the new age, and then a reward to the faithful. So, and then they said how the summer solstice launches a definitive breakthrough. And so we're coming into this awareness that the summer solstice, and this is going to play out obviously for the next 6 months until we reach the winter solstice. So on 12/21, so 6/21 to 12/21. And it's talking about biting through, breakthrough, a reward to the faithful. And that reward is about being present, being conscientious, showing up, doing the work. You know, walking the soul's journey requires commitment. It requires patience. It requires perseverance. It requires a willingness. It requires enthusiasm, joy, because you're committing to something that is not, when I say not easy, it's outside of the norm. What's easy is ego, mind, personality. We've known that. We've known it. And so a return to the soul, a reward for the faithful, is about that commitment. And you all walking the talk, making the commitment. And how the summer solstice launches a definitive breakthrough. So in this 6-month span, in this window, and again, timing, that's why I was saying timing, it feels more imminent. It feels much more present, prescient now. And thereby, the summer solstice, these energies are going to launch a definitive breakthrough. Welcome, Colleen. Good morning, everyone. So now let me, as I put my specs on, let me launch into the astro influences, the astrology of the summer solstice. And then I'm going to show you a chart, and we're going to talk about Sabian symbols. And you're going to see how the Sabian symbols are tying into this reward to the faithful. So here's our astrological influences, our astro influences. And the theme is summer solstice, advance. And there's been a theme of advance, 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 moving forward. So on 6/17, we had the new moon conjunct the quasar 3C 147 at 27 degrees Gemini. It's opposite the galactic center. Now, what was interesting, that happened on this past Saturday. I don't know about you all, but certainly Sunday, Monday, there was this electricity, meaning I went to go to sleep and it was like somebody had plugged you in. Like you had 10 cups of espresso and multiple people that I've spoken with, same thing, like went to bed, woke up at 11, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, couldn't go back to sleep. Just this kind of vibrating. And that happens kind of Sunday, Monday. So put in the comments if you, over the, that Saturday, Sunday, Monday period, did you feel agitated? Did you have an issue with sleep? Did you feel like 10 cups of coffee? Let me know in the comments. On 6/20, the sun enters Cancer. So it entered Cancer yesterday, the sign of the crab. Today is the summer solstice, northern hemisphere, winter solstice, southern hemisphere. And then also the moon, Venus, and Mars are in Leo. So they are also, remember, the divine counterpart in this regal sign of Leo. And then here comes the moon joining the party. And what's beautiful about the moon is she reveals. So we have these divine counterparts. We have the regal sign of Leo, and we have the moon in Leo revealing things, revealing what's unknown, what's hidden. And so there will be this moment, and of course the moon travels very quickly. So there will be things that again play out over the course of time. What the unseen is saying is the brilliance of this conjunction, or and really this pairing, this moment, is that things that have been hidden, divine counterparts, so divine feminine, divine masculine, in the regal sign of Leo, the pride. And remember, the lion doesn't have to roar to be received. It's just known. And then the moon comes along and bestows this wisdom in the sense of what's been hidden. So we have this playing out. And then let's move to the actual, I'm going to share my screen. And this is the astrological chart for the summer solstice. And what I want you to really look at is kind of on the chart, on the wheel, look dead center. You'll see the red lines, you'll see the blue lines, and they're all kind of pointing to the right, just below this DSC, which stands for descendant. It's the descending line. Right there is 21, is Uranus. Uranus, expect the unexpected, the higher mind. And you can see it at 21 degrees. Well, when we go to, I'm going to bounce a little bit here because I have to change my screens. So when we do that, we're looking at Uranus 21 degrees. And the Sabian symbol would then be 22. You advance it a degree. And it says, white dove flying over troubled waters. This is the Sabian symbol, 22 degrees Taurus. The keynote is the spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of crisis. And so, we've been in this moment of crisis, of transition, of really doing the works. And it says, here also we are confronted with a symbol of guidance, and the dove flying over troubled waters reminds one of the story of Noah and the ark. Noah met his and mankind's crisis courageously and in complete obedience to God's promptings. In other words, the unseen. So going as guided. The test and think about that for a minute. Everyone laughing stock. Everyone's laughing at Noah. He's building an ark and so forth, but he's going as guided. He's listening to his soul source connection. He's listening to God, to source. The test completed, he received the dove's message. It is a message from the Holy Spirit announcing a new dispensation, a reward to the faithful. You're going to see. This symbolic scene can be applied to personal crises resulting from emotional upheavals or from the eruption of unconscious forces and impulses into the consciousness. So things coming in unseen. And remember that connection to the galactic center, things that will come to us and we need to let them, percolate and so forth, so that we move and write and speak from the heart. It continues, when the crisis has been faced in the right spirit. So it's about, is there an emotional upheaval or something that's happened to us personally? And there it's an unconscious force or impulse that's coming in consciously. And then when we face that crisis with right spirit. It says this symbol is in contrast to the preceding one because here it is not from the product of culture, a book, but instead it's coming from the rhythm of the cosmic, God-ordained cycles that reveal its conclusive beat through a living and concretely significant sign. So it's not coming from something that is cultural, a book. Instead, it's coming from the rhythm of the cosmic, the God-ordained cycles, divine time. It's coming from the God-ordained cycles that reveals its conclusive beat through a living and concretely significant sign. In capital letters, a reward to the faithful. So here's expect the unexpected. Here's Uranus. And it's talking about this dove flying over the troubled waters and a reward to the faithful. We have done the work. We are doing the work. And thereby, you see in our main theme, this biting through, this breakthrough, this commitment, this going as guided. Noah went as guided. And the reward was the olive branch, was deliverance, was a whole new world, a whole new way. And that was a major reward that came in divine time. Well, it's just like that now. I know that's a big, comparison, if you will. However, it doesn't make it any less true. And so let me just bring in real quickly. Ava is saying a lot of emotions came up during the weekend and felt much inner help to process them. Venus is on my natal noon in Leo. There you go. So you can see how things are going to come up. Olivia is saying, I could not sleep at all Sunday night. Got up at 6 and seemed to go for hours, then crashed for a nap. I don't usually do that. It's exactly that. Over and over and over again. What Ava and Olivia are sharing, Colleen as well. I couldn't either, but I have a sleeping issue. However, absent the sleeping issue, this same thing, this repetitive thing of like getting up and then like crashing later because the rhythm was off. It was amplified. It was just like this wah kind of energy, and you're thinking, oh, where's this coming from? From the unseen. Let me go back so you can see though right now, the summer solstice energies are gonna launch a definitive breakthrough. Uranus, share my screen again here. Uranus is right, and there was something about this when I looked at the wheel, at this astrological wheel it's the natal birth chart of the summer solstice. And there it is, 21 degrees Uranus. It's like everything's pointing to these 3 signs I'm going to show you. So Uranus is at 21 degrees. That's right at the heavy black line, the descending line, DSC. Right below the line at 7 degrees is Taurus. And that is, so we've got we've got Uranus at 21, and this is all in Taurus. We've got Jupiter at 7 degrees Taurus, and we've got the North Node at 1 degrees Taurus. There's something and Chiron is just below at 19 degrees Aries, but the point about this is Uranus, Jupiter, North Node. North Node denotes where we're going. What's to come? It's at 1 degree. Jupiter is at 7. And so at 7, this magic about 7 and the divine fulfillment and so forth. And then if you look up the chart, let's go north of Uranus, you'll see the red at 0 degrees. It's the sun is at 0 degrees. So I'm just going to share with you very quickly some of the other Sabian symbols that are here for this chart. So let's look at then Jupiter. And Jupiter, you again advance it to 8 degrees. It says, a sleigh on land uncovered by snow. The value of anticipating and preparing for expectable conditions. Here we have a combination of 2 factors. The sleigh, which is a product of traditional skill, and the ability man has to foresee and thus to prepare for a future situation. All of this entire journey with Weekly Wisdom and Insights has been in preparation for a future time, a future age, and to anticipate something. This ability relates this symbol to the one for Taurus 7, because the woman in Taurus 7 is the woman from Samaria at the well with Master Jesus. And it says, so it's the symbol and the ability man has to foresee, and then because the woman from Samaria had the capacity to receive a revelation of the future state of human evolution, though in a different and subconscious sense. Man, womankind should be ready to use past knowledge and skill to meet the demands of a stage yet to come. So again, we've been talking about don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We take the very best of everything. This symbol that has to do with Jupiter, benefactor, the great benefactor, is saying we have this opportunity to receive things in the present that we will utilize in the present future. And thereby it's similar to the woman at Samaria at the well when she encounters Master Jesus and doesn't realize, she knows that he's a Jew, but doesn't realize who he is until they have this beautiful exchange. And then she receives foresight. She receives this knowledge. And it says, with this symbol, we should realize the value of future-oriented imagination, but also of relying upon the natural order of unfoldment of all life processes. So and remember from last week, this is what's so amazing, future-oriented imagination. Number 3 from last week was allow your imagination to lead. Beautiful bridge, beautiful connector. And then it was the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it came to me that I hadn't the beautiful song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where it is about imagination. So here we're talking about future-oriented imagination. This energy is playing from the astrological chart. That's Jupiter. Very quickly, we're going to move to the North Node. The North Node in Taurus, it's at 1 degree, so we're looking at 2 degrees, an electrical storm. The cosmic power able to transform all the implications of natural existence. Means no matter what's going on in our lives, the host, the master weaver, the unseen, the cosmic power is able to transform all the implications of natural existence. It means it can transcend all that we're experiencing. So never doubt and never become the lesson. Always be looking to transcend it and know, believe and know that the unseen is the ultimate. The unseen is the original. It is the cosmic power, and it has the capability, the force, the ability to transcend anything that's going on. So as we're walking along, hand in hand, soul source connection, buy into, that's what I'm hearing, buy into the story. It's not a myth. Buy into the truth, the story. This symbol continues, it says, we see a picture which contrasts with the one for the first stage, thus a celestial display of power versus a clear, lovely sounding little stream. So the first symbol is about a lovely sounding little stream. This symbol is about the clear power, the celestial display of power. Back of every natural self-expression stands the tremendous power of the soul field, soul source connection, itself but one of the myriad aspects of the creative world, the creative force that is the origin of this universe. At certain times, this power compels the natural earth-conditioned personality, humans, earth, to accept, perhaps in awe, the spiritual potentialities of its higher celestial destiny. So we're going along, nose to the grindstone, everyone's literal, everything's ego, mind, personality, clickety, clickety, clock, and then something celestial. There's an awe. I'm always in awe when I read for people, when I listen to the unseen, and we do, and they reveal, the moon revealing. They reveal things. I am in absolute awe of the unseen, of the power of the universe, because I've said to you all along, it's not me, James. It's the unseen. I'm simply the conduit. And that is true of all of us. It is not us, no matter what we're doing in our lives, no matter what our vocations, our passions. It's not us. It's the divine coming through us. And thereby, it takes on a greater awe and a greater offering, an opportunity when we realize that, when we see it for its truth. This, oops, sorry about that. Let me just go back. Popped it off my screen for a second. This experience of power can both illuminate and shatter. The next symbol reveals its positive possibilities. And so here again, it's to say, it's like 51 or the tower. It's hexagram 51, which is shock and awe, and it's the tower in the tarot. It can be something that either shatters because we need to move forward and we're not letting go of something, or it illumines, it illuminates, and it's positive in the sense, both are divine and neutral, but it's positive in the sense that it's like it's riding the wave. It just, one of them is riding the wave, the other one is being pummeled by the wave. They're contained within each other. The beauty here is this stage of existence, this symbol, this stage of existence in which revelation is implied, at least as a potentiality. The consciousness may be deeply disturbed by the visitation. There's this unknown element, this shock and awe, this awe and wonder, this universal power, this cosmic force. But the substance of the individual being can be fecundated by the experience, meaning it can grow new things. We can be transformed in a second. And so it's knowings, right? It's that intuitive knowing. So you can see when I said at the top of the hour, powerful energies associated with this. And of course, the summer solstice is about growth. It is about everything that was, that kind of went dormant in the winter, comes to new life in the spring, and then here comes the rewards. Here comes the beauty, because in September is the harvest, but here comes the beauty of the growth, the dynamics. Last but not least, the sun is sitting at 0 degrees Cancer, and it says, on a ship, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. A radical change of allegiance exteriorized in a symbolical act, a point of no return. They're talking about here how we give up the ghost. I'm going to just go to the heart of the matter. It says the collective will gradually overcomes the individual, and at the end, the state will overpower the person. What this is talking about is the fact of, remember, the arc of destiny moves forward. So the collective will, higher power, higher source, cosmic force, that collective will overcomes the individual. It overrides it. It overrules it. And it moves everything, and it empowers the individual because it just moves everything. It says this symbol is a decisive act with heavy consequence. So it's decisive, definitive. Sorry, I had to look here. And it says to where the individual will, in essence, surrenders. It has a reorientation. Why? Because there's the possibility of new. And they give the example here of like where the youth, in our youth, we might be out there, the college youth might realize he should bring to an end his quest for the ideal. Like, it's like we're constantly striving for something. And then as we get a little bit older, 20s into 30s or something, we kind of come to this realization of maybe the ideal or the perfection of something, if we're on that hamster wheel of looking for the perfection of something, we're missing the ultimate perfection. We're missing the ultimate reward, the ultimate gift. Why? Because we haven't changed. We haven't altered ourselves to receive something far more expansive. And thereby, here, the consciousness accepts a process of fundamental reorientation. And it stabilizes us because it expands us. I hope I'm doing justice to all of this. These Sabian symbols are really beautiful. They're very powerful. And again, I'm going to just bring it up very quickly before we move on. Here's the astrological wheel. I'll post this on, it's from astro-seek.com. Just note, when you look at, you don't have to know anything about astrology. Just note how everything's over here on the right, kind of tilted over here on the right. And the inner wheel, and the red and the blue line signify where there's squares, where there's trines, these different things. But everything is pointing, everything's like tilted and pointing. It's like an arrow, a right facing arrow. And it's pointing right at Uranus, Jupiter, North Node. And then the sun is up here at 0 degrees. So that 29, the anaretic degree, these degrees of faith. And that's why this is so important. And then you see the Sabian symbols, which I'll post so you can read them individually. They all are pointing to a reward to the faithful because there's a pivot. There's just a strong change in direction, a new. So let's go to our mantra, because our mantra this week, and I did a post yesterday and you saw it, it's be beautiful inside and out. And it's to remember our beauty, our internal innate beauty, the beauty of your soul. Everything your soul chose is purposeful. Everything. Your height, your hair color, your sexual orientation, your gender, everything about you is beautiful and purposeful. And when we again see that what we actually, quote unquote, do in life is the divine shining through us, coursing through us, and we are the custodian of that experience. We are the guest, we are the custodian. It takes on such a greater magnitude. And it also lessens fear, anxiety, all of these different things, because we realize, oh, it's not us. It's, okay, soul source connection. What is it that we are doing? What do you want me to do? In whatever moment, and apply this, try this. You're facing a choice, a decision, an aspect, and you say, okay, soul, what am I to do in this moment? And then listen, receive. You will still have to, a healthy ego, mind, personality, you will still have to show up, be proactive, respond. However, you will do so as if it's like a third-party situation. You've received the information, you show up, and you execute whatever it is that you're to do, the guidance you receive. What's so powerful is you'll still have a little bit of jitter, you'll still have a little bit of butterflies, jitter, but all of a sudden it takes on, and because you realize you're the custodian of it, you move through it far more easily, and far more with greater enthusiasm and excitement when you're on the other side of it, because you were like, oh my gosh, that was, because you're not in your head. So you realize, oh my gosh, I wasn't caught up in the anxiety or the fear of something or whatever. I just listened and went as guided, like somebody gave me brilliant advice, brilliant direction. And all of a sudden, you move through in a far more expansive manner. This is all higher mind, higher octave. All of these energies are speaking to this. So now with this comes, we're going to be working with hexagram 50. It's the cauldron. And the cauldron is the big, huge pot. There's usually, or typically, sometimes 3 feet on it, like a claw tub in a way, which I know has 4, but the cauldron typically has 3. There's big rings on each side of it. And of course, it was the communal cooking pot. So this cauldron. Now, the beauty of the cauldron in this aspect is, we're going to jump into this really quickly, and you're going to see how hexagram 50 is the cauldron, and its action is refine. So we're being refined. We are being nourished while waiting. Its hidden influence is 43, determination, breakthrough. Its underlining cause is hexagram 3, difficult beginnings, persevere. Don't forget, all of this new energy, this new way, it is original, but it's new to us. And so there'll be difficulty in the beginning because we're literally going to experience new aspects of ourselves, new things, a higher octave of ourselves. And it says There's a quote, this is from Carrie Hone at cafeoso.com. You hold the power to become the master of your existence. The master of your existence meaning to be one with soul source connection. That's where I was saying to you, when you listen and you step aside, third party, and this happens a lot. Remember, have you ever noticed when people say, I don't know how to write about myself, or I don't know how to talk about myself, or it's because they're caught up in their head. And yet you can easily say to someone outside of you, third party, oh, well, you see it clearly. Oh, well, just do X, Y, and Z. See, if you just do, well, it's allowing your soul source connection to do that same thing for you. Step aside, we ego, mind, personality, sidecar, step aside. Soul source connection comes in, gives you that third party information, and then you execute. You advance. You go as guided. So, cauldron is known as Ting, T-I-N-G, Ting. Ting is associated with the alchemical process of transformation, where the distance between spirit and ego must evaporate. See, the distance between ego, mind, personality, and spirit, soul source connection, must evaporate. They become one, they become unified. The ego, mind, personality in service to the soul source connection. On the hero's journey to fulfill one's destiny, you are first called into initiation. You can choose to ignore the call or follow it. Generally, the initiation begins when the ego has been wounded or a path suddenly ends. So there's the tower aspect. Here's that 51, the tower, the shock and awe of things. We either ride the wave or it pummels us, but it's because we're either consciously and proactively aware, it's time to end this relationship, move from this location, change careers, let go of an aspect of ourselves. And we're either doing it willingly, it's riding the wave, or cosmic 2x4, being pummeled by the wave, getting hit with it. Therefore, the Ting, or cauldron, is often about the deeper, spiritual, and more all-encompassing aspects of your journey. This is a powerful hexagram with a message about fulfilling your destiny and the enormous inspiration you possess to accomplish your aims. At the top of the hour, there is nothing that cosmic force and power cannot change. So do not believe for a second, do not tell yourself the story that you're the only one in it. It's all up to you, and that you're not capable, because that's not true. That's a myth. The truth of the matter is, you are one with Source, soul source connection, and you are constantly connected to that higher form of power, of wisdom, of knowing. And it's to allow that to come through, because it's about fulfilling your destiny. Collectively, this is these energies of the summer solstice, this definitive breakthrough, is about fulfilling our destiny, collective. The cooking pot can show a situation in its beginning stages, such as taking a job to receive training, or the early part of a relationship that is as yet undefined. Because we put everything in. It's a melding pot, it's a cooking pot, it's the cauldron. The preceding hexagrams all describe change. The well, which is 48, the well relates to access from the unconscious, where its inspiration leads to the necessary change described by molting or revolution. Remember, we've had those in the previous, literally, molting, revolution, in the previous shows. The cauldron is where the actual change is taking place, so the message can be, give it time, something is still cooking. Say that, divine time, our time, divine time. Give it time, something is still cooking, because the cosmic force is at hand here. While the underlying cause of difficult beginnings suggested persevering or pushing onward toward your goal, the cauldron is a complete rebirth and reconnection with your life path. In other words, most of the hexagrams are reflecting the mundane or daily experiences you encounter. When you receive the cauldron, The perspective has broadened into a more omnipotent view of your life. If you are asking about work or relationships and receive the cauldron as an answer, you can be certain that fate or karma are infusing the answer. There is enormous power in the situation. The hidden influence, the moon, the hidden influence of determination or breakthrough can only work when you are on the right path. See, this is about alignment, and this is about biting through. This is the breakthrough. This is how the summer solstice launches a definitive breakthrough. And it will come, the way they're saying this to me right now, it will come in either a proactive way or a reactive way, depending on where you are on your path. Where are you in the surrender, in the aspects of doing the works? So, life can seem to be pushing back against you as a way of ensuring you get where you need to be. So if you're bouncing up against, we're at the cauldron moment. We are at this moment of literally definitive breakthrough and rewards to the faithful. And thereby you're going to receive your rewards. If you're still bouncing up against limitations, blocks, mindsets, things like that, the unseen is going to, your soul source connection, the unseen, is going to move you, is going to quote unquote push back so as to realign you. It's not to harm you, it's to realign you. So that, because it says with proper determination to succeed on your authentic path, not the one your ego, mind, personality may be telling you. This is where great discernment, listening, am I on the right path? If I'm not, hands off the wheel, take a pause and realign. Allow yourself to be realigned. Because with proper determination to succeed on your authentic path, success is assured. It's only when we go astray, and the beautiful thing about your soul source connection, it's true north. Your ego, mind, personality could be way over here, far right, and it's going to constantly keep pulling you towards true north. It's just whether or not you're listening. Are you surrendering to it? Since the cauldron is a spiritual vessel, this hexagram can portray enormous talent, creativity, or spiritual insight that you can tap. You're constantly connected to source. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish. Enormous talent, creativity, spiritual insight. In a sense, you are the cauldron and your inspiration is boundless. You just need to allow it so. So we're going to continue on with this for a moment, but I want to bring up one of the beautiful quotes from this. And note this spiral. It is the Fibonacci sequence. It is this, no matter whether you expand it, it's the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence. No matter whether you expand or contract, it never loses its form or shape. It never gets extorted. So you can expand it to its greatest form or minimize it to its most infinitesimal form, and it retains its wholeness. It retains its being, its essence. And it says, in a world of change, the idea of sacred holds little relevance. Now, at first I was kind of taken aback by this quote. In a world of change, the idea of sacred holds little relevance. We hold many things sacred. And again, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What they are saying to us is, it's like hold things loosely. It is to hold things sacred and yet allow for change, allow for growth and expansion, allow to be continually informed, transcend, evolve, expand. It's when we hold things sacred and they're fixed, there is no room for expansion or growth. Or revelation. Because what we're saying, what you're saying to the universe, to the unseen, to source, is no, this is it, and it must be this. And everything in the universe is energy. Everything, we are constantly evolving and changing. Look at our personal lives. We are constantly changing. Why would we believe that the unseen, that spirit, source, and symphony, that the whole of the whole, that the cosmic force is not also advancing, evolving, expanding, changing? So we can hold sacred to the fact that that is the truth. In essence, like, is God fixed or fluid? Our belief in can be sacred. However, our belief in the fact that it will expand and change and grow, that's what's on offer. That's the revelation. Secondly, and you're going to see this theme playing out, here's this unfolding, these spirals. What is visible in one realm is only a portion of what remains unseen in another. Imagine all of the aspects of yourself that remain, soul source connection, that remain unseen in another realm. This is where you tap in. This is where you allow your soul source connection to guide you, to reveal the unseen aspects of yourself, of your journey. Because what is visible in one realm, we know what we know until we know. What is visible in one realm is only a portion of what remains unseen in another. Powerful, powerful quote. Let me know how this is all resonating with you in the comments. I'm going to jump into and continue with hexagram 50, the cauldron. I want to go to the actual notes, the unseen, what was received. And they said, and this was the first time this ever happened. First time ever in, since 1994. They gave me notes 1A, B, C. So 3 things in one note. And that's never happened before. And they said, so again, remember, all of these things, the hexagrams, the Sabian symbols, where the planets are astrologically, are all speaking to a definitive breakthrough, a definitive moment of change, that will play out over these next 6 months. And remember, oh God. So remember as well, Pluto just is at 29 degrees, that anaretic degree. It just retrograded back into Capricorn. It'll be there until the end of January. So roughly, we're right at the 7 month, or 6 months and some change, because it's going in to finish up what it didn't finish up before we fully advance. Here's the same window of time is what I'm getting at. And as we advance, they said, 1A, empty nest syndrome. And the empty nest syndrome, and they said, empty nest syndrome, everything's changing. And the empty nest syndrome is this feeling, it said feelings of loss, sadness, grief, irritability, fear. So we know, our souls know that we are advancing, that there is imminent change. We can see on the world stage where it looks like everybody is trying to roll us back to 1950, and yet, not going to happen. Arc of Destiny forward. So there's a knowing. When you're connected, when you're really in tune, you can feel it. Empty nest syndrome, everything's changing. Empty nest is typically referred to when children go off and leave the family, their nucleus, their birth family, off to college, off to live their lives. They start their own nucleus. their own new family. And so there's this sense, these feelings of loss, sadness, grief, irritability, fear. Who am I now? How will this change affect me? And so they're speaking to the fact that you may have heightened feelings of empty nest syndrome because you're aware of the change coming. You're aware of it. So just allow, be peaceful with yourself, walk with grace. The second thing, 1B, they said, and this was so funny. It's a song, one of the songs from Greece. We go together like Rama Lama Lama Dingity Ding Dee Dong. Well, remember, see, similar thing. They've graduated high school. They've been bonded together like a family, empty nest syndrome, and all of a sudden they're going to be going off to college, or they're going off to trade school, or they're leaving the nest. They're leaving the nest of high school in Greece, where this song at the very end, we go together. And yet, we go together. Oof. That just rippled through me, because what they're saying in the moment is, as a whole, we go together. We go together to the new. So while we may be experiencing feelings of empty nest syndrome, of loneliness, sadness, grief, irritability, fear, because of this change, because everything's changing, we go together. So the moral of the story is, don't worry and don't get caught up in how others may be affected. Some may go ahead of us in a different way. Some may come behind us later. Don't get caught up in the empty nest syndrome, because we go together. And it's a very joyful song. I'm going to post it. Last but not least, 1C. Hopelessly Devoted to You. Again, another song from Greece, Olivia Newton-John. Hopelessly Devoted to You. This was the unseen, God's, Buddha, Allah, Source, Spirit, Symphony, saying, soul source connection saying, hopelessly devoted to you. There is no separation between source and self, soul, hopelessly devoted to you. So there's a beauty in these three going together. Empty nest syndrome, everything's changing. We go together like Rama Lama Lama Dingity Ding Dee Dong, and hopelessly devoted to you. Because it comprises the story of this great care, this great care and joy for us as humans, as divine beings, as divine sparks, pieces of the divine that comprise the whole. The second thing, so number 2, they said, victory at last. And then the word, if I could have gotten the letters, finally, the word finally with an exclamation point, any larger on the paper, because that's how large they magnified the word. Victory at last, finally, exclamation point. And they gave me this beautiful image that I'm going to bring up here, which is the 6 of Wands. And look at this beautiful image. If I share my screen, you will be able to see it. There it is. You can see victory. The 6 of Wands represents celebration, victory, the laurel wreath, the wands, the butterflies, the growth, the white horse, purity, goodness, all of these things. So they're saying victory at last, finally, 6 of Wands. And then they gave us this beautiful image, and we used this, but it was altered last week. We used this image last week, but they've altered it. Celebration, victory. So they want us to know that in the 6 of Wands, this homecoming, the 6 of Wands denotes a homecoming, coming full circle. However, coming full circle triumphantly. Deliverance in a triumphant way. Look at I know Alicia will know this. The mantle. I just needed you, Alicia, for a moment in my head so that I picked up look at the beauty of this green mantle on the horse. Green, verdant, abundant, full of potentiality and promise. This is our reward, the victory, the triumph. Next, they said, and this was fascinating, they said, Earth, so number 3, Trinity, Earth and the cosmic egg, the new, ... revealed. I'm going to bring up this beautiful image of, it's a painting, it's called Sunrise by the Ocean. It's by artist Vladimir Kush, and it's kushfinearts.com. And again, I'm going to share. So Earth and the cosmic egg, the new ... revealed. So in this beautiful painting by Vladimir Kush, you see the cosmic egg breaking apart. The yolk is represented by the sun. It's still all being formed and realized. And of course, one side of it represents Earth, the other represents the unseen, the cosmic force, the unseen. And the cosmic egg, so Earth and the cosmic egg, but the cosmic egg has to do with, it's in all creation myths. They call them myths, or refer to them as myths. And what they were saying here is, again, a whole new, remember, it speaks to Revelations in the Bible speaks to, I am making all things new. The old order goes away. And so again, in this moment, I'm just going to share it one more time because it's so beautiful, this sunrise by the ocean. And literally he refers to this. I'm going to post the link for his site, Vladimir Kush on kushfineart.com. In the write-up about this piece, it is about the cosmic egg. So that's what's so telling and beautiful about this, is that it's demonstrating and saying to us, victory at last, finally. 6 of Wands, celebration, victory, a whole new earth, a whole new way. We've been talking about this, and the only thing, remember back to the cauldron, it said, give it time, something's still being prepared. This is saying to us, item number 3 is saying to us, Earth and the cosmic egg, the new ... revealed. So the new will be revealed. Last but not least, in this, they spoke to, so 4, foundational, they spoke to what you see is what you get. So in the new earth revealed, the new is revealed. What you see is what you get. They spoke to us about this before. And then they said, what do you make of it? ? So again, shock and awe, hexagram 51, shock and awe, thunder, the tower, these things, this cosmic power and force. What you see is what you get. Meaning, remember that beautiful quote about the more, the unseen is relative to the polish of the heart, to the purity of your heart. So the more you're connected, soul source connection, the more you're open to see, the more is revealed to you. What you see is what you get. So, and they're just saying to me, I want to apologize to everybody. I feel in a certain way, like I've been all over the place in this episode, and I'm consciously aware of it, because there's so much here that, like 1A, 1B, 1C, we could probably do 3 or 4 shows about components of this. So please forgive me and bear with me on how I've probably bounced around on this. The moral of the story, though, is about the collective, the cauldron. It is about these summer solstice energies, the Sabian symbols that go with them, the power, the force, and to remember and recognize that there is nothing that the cosmic force, the unseen, cannot effectuate, cannot change. And thereby, and we have all of this when we look back historically at ancient civilizations, biblically, look back at all of them, and they speak to this exact truth, this exact fact. Just because it hasn't happened, or we haven't, quote unquote, seen it in our modern day, in this modern moment yet, doesn't mean it won't happen again. And so this is just, all of us have been, the Weekly Wisdom and Insights, all of us, and every soul, all of us signed up. And we then all, within Weekly Wisdom and Insights, we chose to come together and journey together in this way, to receive this advanced notice, this advanced awareness, so that we would align, we would purify, we would let go, we would release things, we would unburden, so as to be more advanced is the way I'm hearing it. With number 4, what you see is what you get. So again, if I could get my arms out wide, 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 the word finally, massive. Think of it like the Hollywood sign, even bigger in Los Angeles on the mountain. Imagine this sign with the words finally on it. Imagine your expansiveness. The more open you are, the more open, heart-centered, open, the more you have released old labels. You've allowed your soul source connection to realign you, the more you're going to see when it occurs. It's going to be that simple. It's that simple, that fast, that responsive. And then they say, what? And then they said, what do you make of it? Because, and what that says to me, you all can place in the comments, what that says to me is, what do you make of it? It instantly has like awe and wonder and intrigue and joy. You can see my face, like my cheeks are smiling, they're radiating, because I couldn't smile bigger if I tried, from the inside out. So what do you see? Magic, awe, wonder, amazement, opportunity, but in the most pure form. Not opportunistic, like being an opportunist, but opportunity in its purest form, like, oh my gosh, this is all present for us. What do you make of it? And that what do you make of it is going to lead us in a whole new way, because we will come into, it's foundational. We come into harmony, unity, alignment with it. And I'll end with this. We've spoken a lot about it, and they just reminded me of it. The ideal. So we've been trudging along, treading, climbing towards an ideal, trying to effectuate an ideal utopia. This unity, oneness, goodness. The ideal becomes the new reality. It is. Plain and simple. So that's where we are. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Thank you all so much for walking this journey with all of us, with me, with you, with everyone around the globe. Thank you for sharing in this journey, because your presence, your comments, your posts, everything, it all plays a role, and it amplifies and magnifies for each of us. and couldn't be more grateful for that. So thank you all so much, and we will see you next week.